Going into the '84 election, we were low in the polls, and a new guy named Brian Mulroney had come along as leading the Conservative Party, and was rising in popularity. And we were so, for a variety of reasons, we were low in the polls going into that campaign. But I sort of caught on, I guess. I enjoyed the campaign. I spoke with conviction about the issues of the time, felt very much at home as leader of the party. And even though when we went into the campaign, a lot of people were quite understandably apprehensive because we were so low in the polls, our own people. I had this internal sense that we could pull it off, and we did. So I campaigned with a sense of joy and conviction about tax matters, and equality for women there was a women's debate for the one and only time in that election, and I did well in that compared to the other leaders, and it turned out well. We continued to go up in the polls during the campaign, and so we finally emerged, making progress instead of going backwards. And again, that was an important foundation to build on for the subsequent 1988 election. But I proposed launching the campaign on Bay Street and made it a kind of Bay Street versus Main Street campaign. Who speaks for ordinary Canadians, which is a phrase I used very often and still believe in. And I couldn't think of a better place to kick off the campaign than right at the heart of our financial system, which is Bay Street. And it worked. People sense whether a politician has a sense of conviction or is at ease with what he's talking about or she's talking about rather quickly. And I felt very much at ease about, back in 1984, the sense of unfairness that was still in Canada for so many Canadians. And that passion for a more equal society brought me into the NDP in the first place, and I grew to internalize it, and it made me, I think, open subsequently to not only class inequalities and distribution of income, but to inequality as it had worked out institutionally against women in our society, against First Nations in our society. And I think I carried that with a sense of conviction in the '84 campaign about building a fairer, more equitable Canada. And what better place to talk about that than on Bay Street?